Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Dashcoin Research Podcast. I'm your host, Nicholas Wenzel, and today I have Kevin with me. Kevin is the founder of TweetDM, which is a CRM for Twitter. Kevin, it's great to have you here.
Great to be here, finally. Yeah,
How's your day been?
it's been going well. Yeah. Between demos and like product rollout, uh, I made it.
Yeah, you just had a demo right before this call, right?
Exactly. Yeah. It's hard to not make those demos too long, because they oftentimes they just spill over. But yeah, it's what we do.
I appreciate you taking the time to come to this show with me. Can you tell us a bit about your background and like how TweetDM got started? Because you had the company before you had the token, and I think that's something a lot of people don't know. So I'd definitely be excited to hear just the broader story of Kevin and how he got to building TweetDM.
Cool. So I'll give you a little bit more of that. So I'm coming kind of like from an engineering background. So been a dev, worked for a few different companies like agencies in Switzerland, then moved to London, worked for Samsung, worked on the foldable phones, like the early stuff with the foldable phones, the early demos, early features that we would put out, kind of like in an experiment stage. And so we've always been into that kind of like new edgy place where we build new things that haven't come out, and that kind of like create like made my mind build things, like shifted my mind to start building things. And yeah, started building different businesses. Like I've created freezingcam.com, I've created langbuddy.ai. It's an AI language tool, 100,000 people using it. And I've also created TweetDM while doing that. So, and TweetDM was, I created TweetDM to help my buddy of mine who has a startup find users. And he was looking for users on X. And he was struggling to send many messages to people. So we started by just making a tool that would allow him to outreach and keep track of people he had reached out to invite them into his platform. So that's kind of like very simple basis where it started. And then we kind of like pivoted a few times with like more tools like the sales navigator system we created specifically for X. And then we went into more of the inbox system that we have today and that everyone can use today.
That's really cool. I like that it was born out of necessity for your friend. I think that's a really sweet way to like start out something and build a product. I'm wondering, like, I want to try using it. I haven't looked much into the product itself, like of how to use it or what the pricing is like. But I think it'd be fun to try because I want to reach people about my product on Twitter, and I think there's a lot of degens out there who'd benefit from it, and I want to get the word out. So that's
100%.
great. And so you've been working on it for what did you say, like 2 years until now?
Yep, 2 years. Should be a little bit more, I think, now, but 2 years.
That's awesome. So, what led you to like launching a token? Like, what was the story behind that? What was the moments leading up to you launching a coin?
So it all kind of started back in September, November last year. So we were kind of like pivoting into more of this inbox shared team experience where we could share a next inbox and share it with multiple people of a team, right? So multiple people can reply to messages because we had customers who had a team of like 3 4 people to reply to messages, and they were all doing it from the same place, and we kind of expanded on that. We released a new version earlier this year with like all these features, and we started getting customers inbound that were just struggling with their DMs. And those users, most of them were involved somewhat in the Web3 space. So we had Simon Chamara from Alliance. We had also Mara Nafal who came through, and the problems from that they were having at their scale was exactly what we were trying to solve. And we previously had companies that were more to the Web2 space, like agencies doing outreach, or like customers like Dan Martel, who were just like chatting with their audience and all that. But the fact that we had more and more Web3 people, we wanted to really make a full step in. So it kind of like stayed in my head. And yeah, recently we caught up with my friend Kayland, who's very involved into the Web3 space. And we were chatting growth ideas, like stuff we could do to kind of like make TweetDM make a proper step into the Web3 space, and find a way that would make sense for us to as well like be there, right? Like it's one thing having a lot of customers who are Web3, but then like the way we've did it with Believe, I think makes a bit of sense in terms of there's like a correlation with how people use the token, what people do with it, and why we're in Web3 as well. So yeah.
Yeah, and then so where did the token launch come into that? You were, talking with a friend about growth ideas, and is that one that kind of came up and he knew about Believe, and then maybe he suggested it to you?
Yes, exactly, exactly. It fully
Mm.
came from him. Like I've seen a few posts about ICM back then, but he was really the one who brought it up to me and Kaylin. I mean, we work together now, so it's been really good.
That's cool. Do you know what day you launched? Because a lot of people launched on the 13th of May. That's when it really took over and everyone was launching. And I wondered, like, where were you at? Were you slightly after that or before that?
Slightly after that, I think we were the 15th of May. I'm
Ooh,
just looking at my calendar, but it was the 15th.
nice, nice, nice. What do people not understand about TweetDM that you think they should?
Um, it's I think TweetDM. I think is TweetDM is the software that will allow you to unlock deals that are already in your DMs. If you already have an audience, you probably have a lot of deal happening in your messages, a lot of opportunities in your DMs, and our software is just here to help you uncover them and take action on them. And if you don't have those type of deals, like we have sales tools that allow you to like reach out to people and make those opportunity a thing for you. So and oftentimes it's like misunderstood how you can uncover those leads, those deals, those opportunities in your DMs, just because you have that many and maybe you just don't look at them, or maybe you reply once in a while. But there is a ton of opportunities in DMs, and yeah, I'm really surprised X is not like doing anything about it, or yeah, but the fact that like communication with people, the relationships you have with people is like the most important thing. And especially when you're an X, like you have social presence, you have authority, like any relationship you have, you want to make sure you treat how it should be treated. and, uh,
Yeah,
and the current system doesn't allow you to do that, and that's why we had to build it.
yeah, that makes sense because there's so many big accounts and they get just flooded with DMs that they can't even look at like any of them. They can't even look at 5% of them. But like you said, there's a lot of deals. There's a lot of interesting opportunities in there, and your software helps surface the interesting ones. Is that right?
Yeah, yeah, we help surface them and we help create them as well. If you have a community like you, for example, like if you're want to reach out to all the Belief founders, or if you just make a post and like 20 people reply and you want to give them make a giveaway or something like that, it's easily doable. Like we did it a few days ago, and we kind of like demoed how 2DM works for that. And yeah, I mean we got a post about it, but yeah. So there's
Actually,
really these two ways, like inbound and outbound.
yeah, I would like to try that because I like to have a more one-on-one relationship with my token holders because it's a small community at the moment, and I have the ability to talk with each of them, but it's hard to keep track of it in my DMs because, like you said, there's no way to categorize DMs. There's no like folders you can put people in. Um, so what's the pricing like on TweetDM? Like, can I try it for free, or do I have to like get a monthly subscription? What does that work like?
Yeah, so it is a monthly subscription. The cool thing is that we're going to be lowering prices to make the entry point even easier for people who just want to like manage their DMs. But currently it's at $49 a month on this lowest tier, and you still get access to like there's still a free trial, so you can come in, link, synchronize all your DMs, all your prospects, or your contacts, relationships. It's completely for free, and if it works for you, you get a few days to try it out, and then after that, obviously you can upgrade, and then we have other upgrades for outreach. So if you want to do like more sales type of things, then we got another plan which is at $79 a month. Still, I think reasonable for like outreach and inbox management tools. I would say.
Yeah, totally. Especially for like businesses and people with large followings, because it's probably going to generate you more money in terms of like either eyeballs or attention or like deals, like you said, than $75 or $79. Like it's going to pay for itself, so to speak. And I'd definitely be curious to try the free trial. So I think I'm going to give that a shot today or tomorrow.
Yes, go.
Um,
You can book a demo as well.
yeah. How is your experience been with the Believe team? Do you feel supported by them?
Um, I mean, we had to come up with creative ways to be seen. Obviously, like we launched on the 15th, so I would say we were right on top of the wave, the big wave of new projects, and that was just the first wave, right? There's been a few, and with the amount of projects that went out, I know they're submerged with requests every day, um, like from either founders who are like built and launched the token, or even just with people who are believing. Um, I wanted to call them the believers, but then yeah. But I think we had a decent support. Yeah, I just feel like there should be like we would have liked to be like more involved with the community directly from the get go. But I understand also how it didn't always a little bit hard to do for them as well. So
Yeah, like they're a small team, and I think a lot of these founders need more support than they're getting right now, in terms of advice, for one. Um, and I was also talking with someone yesterday, and they were saying that they think a big thing that Believe could do better is curate projects. They actually don't like that just anyone can launch a project. They think you should kind of have to apply to do so, and I think there's merit to that. Um, but it looks like they're kind of moving away from that approach. And I don't know if that will ever happen. But I want to go back to the point of like needing support. So a founder like you're not crypto native, right? You'd say you're more like Web 2.
I'd say I'm more Web 2. Yeah, I mean, I'm getting involved in a few Web 3. I had my few trade history and like interest for Web 3 and crypto. Obviously, I invested in Bitcoin a long time ago, but this new ecosystem is completely different. Like, it's nothing like it.
Yes. Yeah, it's very different to like buy some crypto than it is to like run a project on X and like be on Twitter. Like I've been like chronically on Twitter for probably like the last 3 years. Like every day I've been on Twitter and like interacting with DGens on there. And I think that gives me a good insight into like how things work in the industry and whatnot. But most of the founders I've talked to aren't really aware of how things work in crypto. And I think they could really benefit from support. And they're trying to do something now with like Believe University. They Pasternak put out a tweet asking for people to basically make resources, like the community to make resources for these founders. And someone put out a really good Git book. It was AIXBC, which is now Believe Capital. They're doing like a VC kind of plus founder guidance approach. And it was interesting. I think it left out a lot of good information. So I tried to make my own version of it and add some substance to it. Like in their version, no one talked about how you can talk about your token. There's certain guidelines you need to follow. Like you can't say, "Oh, buy my token and I'm going to make you rich." Like you can't say that. And I think a lot of founders don't know where that line is of like what you can and can't say. Or treasury management. No one knows like how to what the best practices are regarding your treasury. Like in my opinion, you should take your Solana fees, swap them out to US dollars, and then either off ramp them to your bank account or keep them in a multi-sig wallet. And like people don't know what that is, so there's a lot of education that needs to get done. And I'm glad to see they're engaging the community to like and encouraging the community to build some of that. And not to ramble too long, because I want to ask you what information you think it's important that a lot of founders need to know that maybe they don't.
Um, I mean, there is. I feel like the only way of learning right now. I mean, what Believe University is doing is like I feel like is amazing. It's on the right track. Like we've been in touch with their team, and the way they're taking this is I think is awesome, and they should just keep going, right? And what you're doing also is amazing. Like it's like talking with founders and getting their point is just the best way of understanding it. But more than that, I feel like I've been lucky to be kind of like taken in the space by Kayland and be surrounded by like other people who are like Web3 native and these people. And I've also been in touch with a lot of people who are, I would say, like um, like very aware of the whole space and like the impact on things and what you should and what you shouldn't not do. But I think the best way to learn and to understand is just to be in the space and just like hop onto a Twitch stream of Thread Guy or see how people interact with the actual token. I think that's the only way you can really make yourself an understanding of it. More than just like those guides are good, but I feel like you really have to be in the trenches, right? You really have to be in the trenches to understand really how it's like. You won't have a feeling of how it is just by reading a good book. Like you gotta feel the stress, you gotta feel the emotions that are happening in there and how people think.
I
And
agree. That's a great point. That like the best way to learn for these founders is just to experience it and to spend time on Twitter. Like spending an hour or two on Twitter every day will be high value for them because they get to learn how this all works through lived experience. That's a great point, and that's something I want to add into the guide. You know, that's great. Thanks for adding that, Kevin. Can you tell me more about the Believe University guys? Because I've been trying to talk to them, but they are pretty busy and they haven't really gotten back to me much. So I'd love to hear what your interactions with them have been.
yeah, I mean they've done so when we launched, I think there's Fishcake and Kevin who are running it, and they reached out pretty fast. I think the day we launched, I mean, it was interesting because they were already putting out a Git book, and they basically interviewed me on a Telegram, and it was like a live Q&A type of thing. And yeah, I mean, it was interesting. I was expecting it to be longer because there's a lot of things, but yeah, I feel like they interviewed me right at the point where we launched, and I feel like I hadn't processed all the information. so so I feel like you're catching me at the right time right now because like it's
Nice.
been like 3 weeks and like we had time to think about things that happened and like reflect on everything that happened. So I think that's great. But I also think like that Believe University thing is in a way good, but it's I feel like it should be embedded into what Believe themselves do. Like it's if for me it feels a little bit weird that it's a third party doing it. But yeah, I
Yeah,
mean it's still valuable.
I agree. I think it's kind of weird, but I think this is a natural effect of them being like understaffed when they really caught lightning in a bottle, so to speak. Like I don't know if they expected it to go as crazy as it did. You know, otherwise they might have had more resources live. But I think it's just a matter of yeah, they were underprepared for the
Yeah.
wave of attention that they got. Um, have you where are you at with the token integration? Do you have any ideas for how to use TweetDM and that like where the token itself will fit into your project? Most Believe founders I've talked with are either in very early stages and they have a couple ideas or and like very few have a fully fledged out plan. So, you know, I just want to preface that by like setting the scene here with what's kind of normal.
Yeah. So we got a plan. We drafted the early plans because again, I'm like Web 2 guy coming in Web 3, gotta figure out tokenomics now. So and I know that my knowledge is kind of limited in that space. So again, it's like everything that I do, I'm trying to get feedback on what we do. And right now, we got, I think, what sounds like a very good plan. But I'm still gathering feedback, and we're still getting inbound requests to review our tokenomics. Like we put out a website just dedicated to the token with all the information that we have about like what our plan is, what's currently doable, what is TweetDM, what's the goal with the token, etc., etc. And we got a tokenomics page with like a contact request page, and people are reaching out through that. And I've been getting a lot of referrals as well from people who'd want to give feedback on our model. Um, it's not easy per se for like a Web2 founder to come up with a lot of these things because everything has an impact. And I feel like more than the Web3 space and like advisors in the Web3 space, I feel like it revolves also around like a buddy of mine who are economists. Like we're running like a very small economy, right? So everything that we do, like if we burn tokens, if we give out tokens, will have an impact on the token and obviously the holders. And yeah, so really trying to do the right thing. We got a plan. We might put it out there, see what the reaction is, what people think of it, and then like improve it over time. But we just want to get it right, like as right as possible in the first launch, I would say.
Yeah, I think that's a great approach. Take it like slow and steady, and you don't need to rush into something. And it's always great to under promise and over deliver. You know, it's better to not have a plan than it is to say a plan and then say, no, no, I've changed my mind. And I think you're doing it right. And it's also great that you're getting feedback from so many people. I think that's one of the really special things about Believe. I'm seeing a lot of really honest and good-hearted Web2 founders coming in and not knowing everything, and that's totally fine. And then their holders are aligned with them; they want to see them succeed. So if I hold TweetDM token and I see Kevin asking for something that I might be able to help with, I'm super inclined to try and help you. You know, and I think that's one of
Exactly.
the special things that's really coming out of this Believe ecosystem, that we're having token holders who oftentimes are very smart people and aligned. They're giving advice to founders, and I'd say like 95% of the advice is bad, but there is like 5% of the advice that's awesome. I mean, uh, and I think that's where the magic happens. So it's important to, like, try and separate the good from the bad advice. But it's something that you don't have with other startups. In a normal startup, no one would really care to like give you advice. Like no one's incentivized to do so.
Yeah, and that's one of the things I found with like we noticed pretty fast is that like Believe didn't just only allow us to not raise VC, it also gave us like a community that's incentivized to help us grow. And I think that's what a lot of people are missing, where we're not just here for like the token money or or whatever. It's just a community that's going to be behind and that's going to be incentivized to help the products and obviously the token grow because they're like intrinsically linked, right? So the community members, I can think of a few that have been super helpful to us, and I think we're really really lucky with the community that we have and the people that are in there. They're amazing holders, amazing people that just we got so many intros to customers through that. But not only customers, but also people who are just here to give us feedback or and yeah, I think this space is just amazing. I think that's something that as a Web2 founder, I couldn't compute in the first week or so. I was like, whoa, whoa, all these people helping us and they're incentivized. Like, what is this, right?
Right. Totally.
But yeah,
If you had a message to all of your holders, let's say someone who bought day one and hasn't sold any since, and he's just holding throughout all the ups and the downs, like, what do you have any words to say to that person?
I think um, I mean, obviously love, but what I would love to say them is obviously like they're involved with the product, so I feel like they're already um, like my goal is to reward everyone with like developing the product as much as possible and making it as big as it should, right? Because I think people who came in early, um, they kind of like deserve to be like not necessarily impressed, but like we need to pay back in a way to them. And the way I feel like the payback should happen is through like making our product the best, and that's what I'm gonna strive for.
Love it. Love it, man. Anything you're excited about? Any features coming up? Any big changes or milestones that you're looking forward to?
Yeah, yeah, we got quite a few things. Obviously, I don't want to share right now, but like we're hoping to make a quite a big change within the next 2 3 weeks, something like that. I think those first token holders you're mentioning, I think they'll be really 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 happy about that.
Awesome.
Yeah, it's hard to mention those things as well. Like before that, I used to be really open about all the stuff we were building. But now you got to be a little bit
Yeah, I mean,
cautious.
you gotta be careful with what you say because, like I said, you gotta under promise and over deliver. I'm the same way. I only talk about a feature pretty much when it's almost done or when it's like live, um, just because I don't want people to like I don't know get their hopes up if something doesn't work out.
Yeah.
Um, are you bootstrapping this like yourself? Like before Believe, were you just funding TweetDM with your own money, or did you have any like angel investors or venture backing?
All my businesses that I've built were fully bootstrap. So I believe in bootstrapping businesses. Like obviously, like VCs, capital injection help accelerate things. But if you have time, um, like being bootstrap works too.
Yeah, agreed. Kevin, I think that's pretty much all. So we're coming up on a half hour here.
Awesome.
Thank you so much for coming on. This has been the Dashcoin Research Podcast. Super happy to have you, Kevin. Thank you for taking the time.
Thank you. My pleasure to be here. See you guys.